But I want to mention it anyway, is that this is the scene, right, where I made a comedy short about it, but my mark was super glitched. So Mark was walking into the door, waiting for that cutscene to unlock, and he was just doing the muck shuffle where his legs were going inwards and outwards, and I was just Charlie gathering clues while Mark was just stuck there. Now, while I had this, as funny as it was, and I'm kind of glad it happened because it didn't affect my game too much, I just wanted to stop and really bring the topic of glitches up, mate, because supermassive games, we're kind of renowned for having them. I've encountered a fair few. Man and Medan, I had like the ghost on the toilet that was like, just alive, just looking at me. I had like the thing earlier in this game where like I couldn't pick up a clue that you had the same one. House of Ashes, a lot of people shared the same one as me, where you're Salim and Jason locked you in a cell and you have to like shimmy and crawl for like 10 minutes to get out, which just shouldn't be an issue in a video game. I've heard that a lot of issues with glitches in this game, mate, and I think The Devil in Me might just be the most glitched supermassive games project we've ever had. I'll give you some examples of things that some horror stories I've heard. I've seen a video on Reddit where Charlie walks across like the balance beam to get to the lighthouse, and he's in the air and he's teleporting around. I've heard issues of people going outside the map. I've heard issues of characters T-posing. I've heard things about, people leaving, Kate's makeup mirror just being left floating in the air. A common one I've heard is Mark's camera just not being in his hand, so he's filming with like an invisible camera. Now, my brother, his game was completely ruined by glitches. The big thing for him is that quick time events wouldn't show up on screen. So he got people killed through heartbeat sequences because his heartbeat sequence display never showed up. He had button mashes that he couldn't do because the button mash screen wouldn't show up. Dialogue that just wasn't there. So he ended up saying nothing because the timer ran out. And it's just really interesting to hear that my opinion was a little bit like, well, you know what, glitches are kind of fun, especially if they're minor. I quite like them in many senses because although it takes away from the horror element that they are trying to achieve, it is nice to have a little laugh here and there. I do love a little glitch personally, I don't mind it too much. But after hearing what I said about my brother's experience where his game got completely ruined because he killed 2 or 3 characters off through glitches, I mean, what is your thought on that, mate?
It's such a shame, isn't it? Because your first playthrough is your golden playthrough. Like, your brother's gonna like undoubtedly go back through this game, and even if there are patches and there are fixes, it takes the beauty out of it a little bit because he's gonna know what's coming in a way, and you'll be able to do the quick time events, but it loses that freshness. Speaking for me personally, I did have a glitch in this bit as well. Nothing major. I think it's just like this random item in the slaughterhouse. It looked like some sort of tool or equipment. It was just floating in midair. And it's almost similar to what you were saying about Kate's thing as well. That's it for me with glitches in this game. I always seem to come out on the good side of things. Relatively when it comes to glitches, but I've got to say I do feel sorry for those that have experienced them in such a way that it really does impact on your first playthrough, because as I said, I think it's just one of those things that you can't really forget. It's happened to you.
Yeah, of course, that's it. Because I'm aware that supermassive games are going bigger and better for us, and I get that issues will come with that. They've given us all these features, they're giving us a longer game, the inventory. So with that, there probably will be little hiccups along the way. And we know that they do patches. They did it for the Quarry when you had Constance's wig glitch. And they'll do the same, and I'm pretty sure this game will get fixed. But like you say, I agree, it loses that freshness, and your blind playthrough really is your golden playthrough. So it sucks that some people have turned away and said, I'm going to have to wait for the patch because I can't play the game. Now, I know certain engines are better than other ones for it. For example, there are a lot of reports that the PS5 is extremely glitched for this game. It's apparently the PS4 seems to be a lot better than the PS5 for actually playing this game. But yeah, just let us know in the comments, guys. We might do another separate video on this, we might not. But let us know about some glitches you've experienced, perhaps, because it's just really interesting to know, and it's one that we really hope that Supermassive Games can iron out over time, because it, like Jack says, it's a complete shame when glitches can completely ruin your experience like that.